You opened an app for 2 seconds. 40 minutes later, you're still there. You didn't plan to stay. You just couldn't leave. This isn't laziness. It's not weakness. It's not even your fault. Your brain was hijacked by something engineered specifically to hijack it. There are entire teams of engineers whose job is to keep you scrolling. They study your behavior. They test what works. They optimize every second. And they're very, very good at it. In this video, we're going to look at exactly how they do it and why. Once you understand the mechanism, you can actually do something about it. Let's start at the very beginning with a hook. Every piece of content you see is designed to stop your thumb. The thumbnail, the first line, the preview, all engineered for one thing, the click. Once you click, you enter the loop. And the loop has its own logic. And that logic was built to serve them, not you. To understand the scroll, you first need to understand dopamine. Dopamine isn't the pleasure chemical. That's a myth. Dopamine is the anticipation chemical. It's about wanting, not having. The scroll is the perfect dopamine machine. Because the next thing might be amazing. It never is. But your brain keeps betting it will be. This is called variable reward. And it's the most powerful addiction mechanism known. It works on pigeons. It works on rats. It works perfectly on humans. Every like, every comment, every new video, a tiny unpredictable hit. And your brain never knows when the next hit is coming, so it never stops looking. This is why you pick up your phone without deciding to. The platforms didn't stumble onto this by accident. They hired the world's best behavioral scientists to engineer exactly this. Former insiders have admitted the goal was always engagement, not well-being. Engagement means time on platform. Time on platform means money. Now let's talk about the algorithm. The part that makes it personal. The algorithm doesn't show you what's popular. It shows you what keeps you. It watches everything. What you pause on. What you replay. What you screenshot. It knows what makes your heart rate spike before you do. It built a model of you. And that model is incredibly accurate. This model predicts what will stop you. What will anger you. What will make you stay? Anger, by the way, is one of the most effective retention tools. Outrage keeps you scrolling longer than joy does, every time. So, the algorithm feeds you more of what makes you angry, not to upset you, just to keep you. The damage is a side effect they're fine with. The feed is not a neutral space. Every post you see was chosen for a reason. And the reason is always the same. Will this keep them on the platform? Not, is this true? Not, is this good for them? Just, does it perform? You're not a user, you're a product, and your attention is what's being sold. But here's where it gets psychological. Beyond the engineering, FOMO, the fear of missing out. You know the feeling, that anxious pull when you haven't checked your phone in an hour. That feeling isn't natural. It was cultivated. Platforms spent years training you to feel anxious without them. Notifications are not updates. They're Pavlovian conditioning. Every ping is a trained stimulus. Your reach for the phone is the conditioned response. They created the itch, and they're the only ones selling the scratch. The average person checks their phone 96 times a day. That's not behavior, that's a reflex. Closer to breathing than to choosing. You didn't develop this habit, it was developed in you. That is an important distinction, because it changes what you can do. Social comparison is the other weapon, seeing everyone else doing better. Your brain is wired to compare. Platforms weaponize that wiring. Let's talk about the design, the physical environment they built. Infinite scroll was invented in 2006 by Asa Raskin. He regrets it. Before infinite scroll, there were page breaks. You had to choose to continue. That friction was a feature. Removing it was a choice to remove your agency. The like button creates a scoreboard, and humans are terrible at ignoring scoreboards. The follower count is a public status display. It triggers tribal ranking instincts, stories that disappear, posts that expire, urgency built into the architecture. The autoplay feature removes the decision to keep watching. It just continues. None of these are accidents. Each one was A/B, tested until it maximized retention. The phone itself is designed to be hard to put down. The bright screen in a dark room, the haptic buzz, the little red badge, red specifically, because red triggers urgency in the human brain. These are not design decisions made for you. They're made to extract from you, extract your time, your data, your attention, your money. So, what does all this actually cost you? Let's be specific. 2 hours a day average. That's 730 hours a year. 730 hours. That's 30 full days of your life. Every single year. Not 30 days of rest. 30 days of someone else's content. Ads and outrage. Then there's the attention cost. The one that's harder to measure. Every time you switch between tasks, your brain needs time to refocus. Research shows it takes an average of 23 minutes to fully regain focus after an interruption. You check your phone 96 times a day. You never fully focus on anything. This isn't productivity loss. This is your ability to think deeply. Degraded. The mental health cost is documented. Anxiety, depression, loneliness, especially in younger users. The data on adolescents is striking, and yet the platforms market themselves as connection tools, as community. The gap between the marketing and the research is not a misunderstanding. It's a business model, and you are what it runs on. Okay, so what can you actually do about it? First, understanding the mechanism is already half the battle. When you see a notification and feel the pull, you now know what that is. That pause, that moment of recognition, changes everything. Second, friction works both ways. Add it back to your own environment. Move the app 3 taps deep. Delete it from your home screen. Turn off all notifications except calls and texts from actual humans. Make the default behavior not checking, not reaching, existing. Third, replace the variable with something fixed. Variable rewards keep you hooked. Fixed rewards, a walk, a book, a person, satisfy. Fourth, schedule the use. Don't let the urge decide when. 10 minutes at lunch, 20 minutes in the evening, on your terms. Fifth, know what you're actually looking for when you reach for the phone. Most of the time it's boredom or anxiety. And the phone makes both worse. Now, let's talk about what's on the other side of this. Not the absence of scrolling, the presence of something else. Attention that goes somewhere. Thoughts that finish. Ideas that develop. Boredom that becomes creativity. Because boredom is actually a signal, not a problem. When your brain isn't constantly fed novelty, it starts generating it. That's where your best thinking happens. In the gaps, in the quiet. People report sleeping better, focusing longer, feeling less anxious, not from quitting, just from being intentional about when and how. The goal isn't to hate social media. It's to stop letting it run you. Use it when you choose. Put it down when you choose. That's it. Because right now, for most people, it's the other way around, and that's worth changing. Not because social media is evil, but because your attention is yours, and what you do with it matters. The engineers who built this, they have screen time limits on their own kids' devices. Let that sit for a second. You're not weak for getting pulled in. You were pulled by something very powerful. Knowing that is power, not an excuse, power. You can use that knowledge to start making different choices. Small ones first. Turn off one set of notifications today. Just one. Move one app off your home screen. Just one. Tomorrow, one more. The week after, one more. This is how you build a different relationship with technology. Slowly, intentionally. You are not the problem. The design is the problem, but you are the solution. And you already have everything you need. Awareness, intentionality, tiny friction, scheduled use. That's the whole system, not perfection, just direction. If this made you think, subscribe. We break down psychology every week. See you next time. Put the phone down for 5 minutes first.